The great, big, enormous turnip.
Ready, steady, readers.
It's an old story, this, but this one has been retold by...
Retold by?
Retold by... There you go. Sophie Giles.
Sophie Giles.
Illustrated by Laurie Taylor.
Laurie Taylor.
I think that's Laurie.
And they got an award.
Yeah, or something. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. Once upon a time...
Hang on, let me just turn the page out. Go on.
Once upon a time, a little old man and a little old woman lived in a pretty cottage with a great big garden. He grew wonderful vegetables, which she made into delicious stews and pies.
This old man and this old woman live in an apartment, so we have to have an allotment. And our allotment is next door to this old man's
Mum's allotment, and she just tells us when to go.
Yeah,
and
she grows
so.
she grows giant vegetables as well.
She does.
And she makes special guest appearances sometimes.
She does.
Yeah, when she walks in halfway through us reading a book, lets herself in. Early one spring morning, the little old man went into the garden to plant some turnip seeds. He dug a shallow trench, scattered a few seeds along it, and carefully covered them with soil. Then he watered the soil, put his tools away, and went to make a cup of tea. Sounds like a good day out to me.
Yep.
Unless the rabbit eats the seeds.
Yeah. They usually wait until the greenery comes up, rabbits. After a few weeks, little green shoots began to poke out of the ground. The little old man carefully hoed around the young plants to make sure there were no weeds or stones in their way.
Well, the Americans think a hoe's something else. That's a hoe.
It's spelled H-O-E, though.
Yeah, H-O-E. I don't know, why don't they use a hoe? What they call it?
Don't even go there.
No, the Americans, do they call it a hoe?
They probably call it a hoe as well,
I've never seen anybody on telly in America call something a hoe.
I don't know.
Well, them a hoe anyway.
I'll Google it later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they have different names for some things in America, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's your turn. I've read my page.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I thought you only got halfway through.
No, I read all of it.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, did they notice?
Yes.
Okay.
It was you that wasn't listening.
Yeah. What do you mean I wasn't listening? I just wasn't taking it in.
Yeah.
The young turnips grew and grew, but one of them grew much faster than the others. Every day, the little old man watched in amazement as the turnip grew bigger and bigger and bigger. Look at the size of that.
That's a huge
You can make some bowls
one.
of soup out of that, couldn't you?
Absolutely. The turnip grew and grew. At first, it was the size of a football.
Football, look.
Then it was the size of a barrel. Then it was as large as the wheelbarrow.
That's huge.
And still it grew and grew until it became a great, big, enormous turnip, the size of the little old man's favourite armchair.
Favourite armchair? I wonder how many armchairs he's got.
Well,
If he's got a favourite.
there's probably another one in there that his wife sits in. Yeah, that's not his favourite.
The little old man looked at the great big enormous turnip. How wonderful, he said. The little old woman looked at the great big enormous turnip.
How will it ever fit into my cooking pot?
She asked. Well, you could have to cut it up and freeze some of it.
Yeah.
Put it in the freezer.
I think so. That's what your mum does with all the vegetables and fruit that she grows.
Yeah. She lives on her own. She's got about 15 freezers.
One
She'll be
morning,
right once the zombies turn up, the apocalypse.
she'll be fine.
Yeah, she'll be she's got enough food to live on for the rest of her life.
One morning, the little old woman said, "Why don't you dig up that turnip today so I can make us a nice stew for dinner?"
He's busy.
Yeah, a little bit like you.
Yeah. Huh? Now, the little old man didn't really want to pull up the great big enormous turnip, but taking his garden fork and being nagged like he was, he thought he'd go for an easier life and dig it up anyway. He went to dig up as the little old woman had politely requested.
Well, she did.
Well, she wasn't a little old woman, she was his wife.
Yeah.
You're a little old woman.
Not as old as you.
But old.
Not as old as you.
Yeah, I know, but
And I'll
it's
never
the
be as old as
it's not
you.
the age, it's the mileage, and you look like you've done more
I
mileage.
don't have more mileage than you.
You've done more mileage, yeah.
I haven't. The little old man dug all around the turnip to loosen the soil.
You look worn out.
You know why?
No.
Because I married you.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Oh, just because your
Then
hair
he
was
passed-
blonde then, but it came out of a bottle. Now you're in platinum blonde.
You quite finished?
No, not yet. Go on. We've got about another 10 pages to go yet.
The little old man dug all around the turnip to loosen the soil. Then he grasped it firmly and pulled and pulled. But the great big enormous turnip wouldn't budge.
My goodness,
said the little old man.
Said the little old man. I shall need some help with this. And he called to the little old woman.
And she said,
Trina!
Get lost.
Granny Trina!
Do it yourself.
Granny Trina, give me a hand here. Oh, it's making me head sweat.
Yeah, do it yourself. The little old woman held the little old man around his waist. The little old man grasped the great big enormous turnip. And
I remember this story now from
they pulled and they pulled.
From when I was little. That's a really old story, isn't it?
Yes.
Go on.
But the great big enormous turnip wouldn't budge. My goodness,
said the little old woman.
We'll need some help with this.
And she called the boy from next door. Henry.
The boy next door came and held the little old woman around her waist. The little old woman held the little old man around his waist. And the little old man grasped the great big enormous turnip. And together they pulled and they pulled.
But the great big enormous turnip would not budge.
A bit like you, getting up in the morning.
Get small. I always get up in the morning. I'm up before you.
Liar.
Every day.
Liar.
Every day.
Pants on fire.
We need some more.
No. It's the boy.
We need some more help with it,
said the boy from next door. And he called his sister.
Gertrude.
The girl from next door held her brother around the waist. The boy held the little old woman around the waist. Her waist, even. The little old woman held the little old man around his waist. And the little old man grasped the great big enormous turnip. Together they pulled and they pulled.
But pulling a word out there.
Yeah.
And they're all just watching, look.
They're going to get roped in a minute.
Yeah. But the great big enormous turnip wouldn't budge.
We need some more help with this,
said the girl from next door called Gertrude. And she called the dog. There, you're right.
Woof, woof.
Fido.
The dog held on to the girl. The
Fido.
girl held on
Gertrude.
to the boy. The boy held
Henry.
on to the little old woman.
Trina.
The little old woman held on to the little old man. Sean. And the little old man grasped the great big enormous turnip.
Margaret.
Although that could be you.
What, the turnip?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Together they pulled, and they pulled, but with the great big enormous Start
again.
But the great big enormous turnip wouldn't budge. Wait, let's have help with this, woofed the dog, and he called the cat Esmeralda.
Okay.
You see what I'm doing? They called the cat.
Yes, I know. The cat held on to the dog. The dog held on to the
Esmeralda.
girl. The girl
Fido.
held on to the boy. The boy held on to the little old woman. The little old woman held on to the little old man. And the little old man grasped the great big enormous turnip. Together they pulled and they pulled. Pulling his tail.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably made those noises as well while they were pulling.
My really manly hiccuping.
Yeah.
Big tufty trucker doing a manly hiccup.
Come on.
But the great big enormous turnip still wouldn't budge.
We need some more help with this,
Meowed the cat Esmeralda as she called the mouse Tom. Oh no, Jerry, wasn't it?
Jerry was the mouse, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry. Called the mouse Jerry.
The mouse held on to the cat. The cat held on to the dog. The dog held on to the girl. The girl held on to the boy. The boy held on to the little old woman. The little old woman held on to the little old man. And the little old man grasped the great big enormous turnip. Together they pulled. And at last the great big enormous turnip began to move.
The little old man, the little old woman, the boy next door, the girl next door, the dog, the cat, the mouse, all tumbled to the ground as the turnip came out of the ground with a great big
Sorry, stop. With a great big, enormous...
Yeah, enormous.
Slip.
No, you're not good with noises.
Slip.
No, it's like this.
I'm just doing the noises. Slip.
Shush.
Schlup. It's a bit like shut up, that. Schlup. Get on with it.
I'm making noises.
Yeah, always. Even in your sleep.
You could talk.
The little old man, the little
Miss
old woman,
Blower Offer.
the boy and the girl, the dog, the cat and the mouse all sat down together at the table and filled their plates with the most delicious turnip stew they had ever tasted.
Ooh. I don't think a dog probably had many turnip stews before that.
No, true that.
Oh, what's this? Are you a ready, steady reader's superstar? Key sounds.
Grr. Ooh. A. You.
Ew. Race to point the words in the story that use these key sounds, or clap each time you hear one used as the story is read aloud. Should they put this at the beginning?
You know, it would be helpful, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Different voices.
Oh, yeah, we
Think
did
about
that.
how you would use different voices to show how the... Yeah, definitely should have been at the beginning, this.
Counting as well.
Yeah, can't. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we'll skip all that because it should have been at the beginning.
Anyway, it's finished.
Yeah.
The end.
Hang on.
Stew for everybody.
Apart from the bird didn't get now.
But it didn't help.
Notes for grown-ups.
Yeah.
Put all this stuff
Keep
at the
going.
beginning. Put all this stuff at the beginning of the book, grown-ups, and then we can do it as you go through. So that at the end,
Yeah.
there's a note for you. If you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit, buy our club.
Yeah, whatever.
You've still not got the perspective,
Yeah,
right?
but I can't. My
No,
arm
look.
won't twist around.
Just go like that.
I'm doing
And
it.
then it's the right way for the camera, look.
Okay, whatever. It's
Yeah.
a thumb.
Click on the thumbs up if you liked it.
Yeah. And then.
And then click on the subscribe.
Because it's free.
Free, sit there, free. Then click on the bell,
Ding,
and then
ding,
YouTube will let you know next time we do a book, which will be in about 10 minutes. And probably less than that, actually.
Yeah.
And then share it with
'Cause
everybody
sharing is caring
in
on
your
social media.
your friend groups. Yeah, share it.
Thanks.